Hey, ever wanted a vegetable that is easy to grow, looks amazing, and tastes delicious? Then Swiss chard is your best bet. Here we normally refer to it's normally referred to as spinach, but actually this is Swiss chard. So in this video, I'll be transplanting some Swiss chard seedlings, which I'll be harvesting for the rest of the year, you know, for the entire season. So let's get planting. First things first, let's check on the Swiss chard seedlings. So actually this is where I opted to propagate these Swiss chard seedlings on this bed. Actually, this bed I prepared them for bulb onions, but I didn't get the seeds in time, so the bulb onions are still in the nursery bed. So instead of leaving these beds idle, I opted to do some coriander and some Swiss chard here as a nursery that I can now transplant. So at least I've harvested the coriander. It's almost sold out now. And now it's time to transplant this to Swiss chard. So you want your seedlings to be strong enough. Take about 4 to 6 months, 4 to 6 weeks to be ready, and it should have at least 4 to 6 leaves as well, and with the root well formed. Yeah. So you need a make sure that the seedling is sturdy enough, so that with at least 4 to 6 true leaves. And with this is how the Swiss chard seedling looks like. This is what you're going to be transplanting onto our bed. So let's check out where now I will be transplanting these Swiss chards too. Here we go. This is the bed that I want to transplant the Swiss chard on. The bed is prepared. So when preparing the bed and where you want to transplant your Swiss chard, it thrives well on full sun. So ensure where you're transplanting your Swiss chard, it gets at least 6 hours of sunlight. That's when now the crop thrives well. So make sure the spot where you want to transplant your seedlings gets enough sunlight, at least 6 hours of full sun. So this is well prepared. I've already done the planting holes. Let's take a look. Here are the planting holes. I've done a spacing of about 12 inches. That's about 30 centimeters. So that's where I'll be planting. I want them to have enough space so that it's not too crowded. Because if it's too crowded, you're going to risk having diseases. So this is where I'll be transplanting my Swiss chard. I'd already started with others earlier on, so now today I want to plant on this. Of course, on the bed there are also some corn. This corn is actually some heirloom, the indigenous heirloom variety, the colored type. So that's why I'm leaving it there. I want it to grow full cycle and dry, so that I can get the seeds. I want to propagate this as seed, so that I can use that to regrow or to propagate more. So because now I've noticed the heirloom variety is not doing so well, so I want now to be, the hybrid variety, so I want to be using this heirloom. This is the heirloom colored variety. So I'll leave it there to dry off, and then I'll be using that as seed. So the rest, this is where I'll be transplanting the Swiss chard. So let's go and get the seedlings. While you're doing your nursery, you also need to check, if your seedlings are too crowded. You can opt to do thinning out, whereby you pluck off the weak seedlings so that you can give the rest enough space to enough space to grow, so that you can have strong and sturdy seedlings. Because if you leave them so crowded, they're going to be thin and weak, and you'll not be able to successfully transplant them. So if you're not able to when sowing, you can opt to, once the seedlings germinate, you can start thinning out if it's too crowded, so that you can reduce the thin ones and you leave the healthy and strong ones, so that now the seedling can be strong enough. And with that, now you're assured that they'll easily survive the transplant. So let's continue. So while transplanting, ensure that the holes are wide enough, and you check that when you're putting in your seedling, that the crown, this is where the stem meets the leaves, is slightly above the soil. So that's how you do. So where the stem meets the leaves, slightly above the soil. So you gently do that. Then after that, you backfill the soil, and you gently farm it up so to ensure that the root has contact with the soil. So simply, that's how you ensure that you transplant your system seedling. Like that, you farm it up like that. Once you're done with your transplanting, ensure that you deeply water your seedlings. So in my case here, I'll be using the drip irrigation. So ensure that you deeply water your seedlings so that they can well soaked. Even if you're using a overhead, ensure that the soil is well soaked, but you don't form puddles. So the idea is not, you make sure that the seedlings are well watered. Once you're done with your transplanting and the seedlings are settled in, so what are some of the aftercare things that you need to do? So some of the things that you need to do as aftercare is, of course, number one is watering. Ensure that you consistently water your seedlings, especially during the hot and dry season. Ensure that you consistently water your seedlings. The idea is to ensure that the soil is always moist, but not soggy. So constantly water your seedlings. The second one is fertilization. Of course, during the planting and the setting up of the beds, the one thing you need to do is to incorporate some compost or well matured manure. With that now, the crop does well. Actually, in fact, Chard is not a very heavy feeder. So once you incorporate that and ensure that the soil is well drained, you can be doing can do can add a balanced fertilizer every few weeks, maybe probably once every month. You can top up with a balanced fertilizer, yeah, in addition to the compost or the manure that you incorporated during the planting period. And with that, you'll be able to harvest your Swiss chard within about, if you take care of it properly, between 4 to 6 weeks. You'll be able to harvesting. You'll be harvesting the outer leaves, yeah. Once they get to the right size, you can harvest the outer leaves, leave the inner leaves so that they can regrow, and that you can have a bountiful harvest for a long period. Yeah, that's more like it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions regarding Swiss chard, uh, transplanting of Swiss chard, maintenance and care, please let me know. Ask in the comments below, and I'll sure be ready to help. So thank you so much. Till the next one, happy farming.